I'm Franklin. I'm Sabrina.
Trevor.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Ian. John Paul.
And today we are here to introduce you to our design and ideas for our bridge to prosperity. First, we're going to talk about the people that are being affected. So, the town of Golublinu is a small village in the Bec region of the Côte d'Ivoire. There are no hospitals, clinics, or pharmacies in this town. The closest ones are over a river, the Golipokokuru. The river has a width of 18 meters. It is flooded 365 days a year. Every single day it is flooded. And there are 10 reported deaths from locals trying to cross this river. And because of this high death count, we think it is a prime location for our bridge to be built.
So to put everything into perspective, we created a little video on Google Earth to show the scale of our project. So to start, here we are, where everything came together in Engineering Hall, room 240. Then we go across the Atlantic over to Africa, to the Ivory Coast, and that is our village of Gobelenu. And not too far away from that, you'll see the location for our bridge, which is this little red line. And that adding a bridge there would allow people of Gobelenu to access the nearest hospital, which is all the way over here. So this brings us to the main goals of our project. So we obviously want to create a strong bridge that allows passing across the river while remaining durable enough to last generations. We also want to be able to create this reliable bridge at the lowest possible cost. And our most important goal is to be able to help the people in need within the village and provide them access to the healthcare they deserve. So our bridge design all started in F-Tool, where we designed our first schematic. This one in particular was our final design, being the Warren Truss.
Yes, as Ian said, we designed all of our bridges in F-Tool first, and then we constructed them in wood. But the inspiration for our two designs, the Pratt Truss and the Warren Truss, are actually from a science fair project that I found searching on the internet titled "What Bridge Design is Strongest" by Elizabeth J. Kennedy. She tested Warren, Pratt, and K-Truss bridges out of popsicle sticks and glue, similar to our bridges. And after her tests, she found that Warren trusses performed 40% better than Pratt and K-Truss bridges. So that meant that one of our prototypes was going to be a Warren, because that's the best one according to her. And then to test her, we also did a Pratt Truss bridge to verify that she was correct, because it's just a science fair project. It's not very official. And then the results did show that the Warren Truss is stronger. The load that the Pratt Truss bridge held was 40.7 pounds at a cost of $4.10, giving a load to cost ratio of 9.93. And the Warren Truss was much stronger, holding a load of 90.5 pounds at a cost of $2.85, giving a load to cost ratio of 31.75. And then that led us to use a Warren Truss for our final bridge. But one small change we made was adding second gusset plates. You can see here on some of the gussets, because the gusset plates were where all of our previous bridges had failed. So adding a second gusset plate doubles the strength, theoretically, of the gusset plate, which allowed us to hold an additional 10 pounds for a load of 100.4 pounds at a cost of $3.21, giving us a similar ratio of 31.3.
To compare how our bridge did to the other groups, we made this little table which kind of does a little graph And as you can see, Team Barry had the best ratio, Team Whitman had the second best, Team Ross didn't do so well, and then Team Franklin, we did okay. We couldn't stay the best the whole time, that would have been unfair. So, you know, overall, most of us stayed in the 30s ratio for our bridge, and we all use similar designs, so kind of makes sense. When it comes to taking our design to the village, our dimensions are 24 by 4 by 6 meters. For our materials, we chose Tolly wood, which is a yellow-brown heartwood that is used for exterior construction. It's native to East Africa, and we're sourcing it from Gabon Wood Industries, which is sourced out of Central Africa. It has interlocking grain, which is very durable, and it's resistant to rot and humidity, which is obviously very useful in a climate like this because it's always hot and it's always humid. For our ground connection, we're using concrete pads with piers. Truss bridge will lay across it, and then it will be secured by anchors, which basically acts just like boat anchors. It holds the bridge down and makes sure that it doesn't move if there's any like wind or water. For gravel, we're putting that under the concrete pad to stop it from sinking because obviously this is a river. It's going to kind of move the terrain around a bit, and we don't want our concrete pads to start sinking with erosion. For our support, we have 1-inch twisted manila rope that will be run across each pier to the center of the bridge to offer more support. And then we have our ground anchors, and then we'll have rope guides going along the bridge, obviously just to make sure people don't fall off the bridge. For our project plan, our planned start is December 2024, and our planned ending is February 2025. The dry season is November to March, and we wanted to wait a little bit after November just to make sure that the ground is a little bit more supportive, because if we started right when the dry season starts, it might not be as held up well. And then by February 2025, because we don't want to get too close to the end of dry season and all of a sudden it starts up a little early and kind of throws off our plan. And so for our first step, we'll be laying down the gravel. When doing that, we have to consider the bank conditions and also the weather conditions. And that'll be on day 1, and it'll take approximately 8 hours to pour 2 10 by 10 meter bases. For our concrete pads, this will be on day 2, and this will be to stabilize and support the bridge. And it'll take approximately 8 hours to pour both pads. For 3, we have our wood beams, which is the spine of the bridge. And this will be on day 2 to situate the beams. And we have to do this before the concrete settles. And then it'll take the concrete about 10 to 28 days to settle, depending on outlying conditions. And for our tally plywood, this will be a passage for the pedestrians. This will be on day 30. That's just an estimate depending on when the concrete settles, obviously. But this will be the walkway, and it'll take around 4 days to build, we're guessing. And then for the manila rope, this will provide the stability and extra support for the walkway and prevent it from bowing. This will be on around day 35 to run the rope and install the rope guides along the bridge and the beam, and the center walkway as well for some extra support.
So, cost breakdown. So, we're going to need 200 feet of 1-inch manila rope, which will cost roughly $200. The reason why we're using manila rope is because of its load and tensile strength. Also, it is very UV resistant, so it won't degrade to the sun. Other than that, we're going to need four beams, which is 6 inches wide and 24 inches deep and 24 feet tall. These will provide sufficient support, and they have good dimensions for anchoring the frame of the bridge. We will also need 10 by 4 inch and a quarter plywood. This will serve as the walking way for the pedestrians. This will withstand the weather, and when you walk on it, you won't feel anything. You won't feel like the ground bowing. It's thick enough to where it should handle some good weight. For the gravel, it's going to be roughly $8,500, and this will stop the concrete from settling. The concrete might settle and the gravel will shift underneath the concrete to kind of keep it stable and level. Other than that, we need the actual concrete, which will stationary or station everything for the bridge. It'll be the feet of the bridge. Anchors will need they'll be 9 inches long by 1.25 inches. They'll be good holding points. They're galvanized. They're not gonna corrode in the weather, the rain. And also the rope guides will also, so there'll be 2 on each pier, and they'll run to the center. So there will be total of 6 rope guides, and they will be $25. Total cost will be $17,275. So in conclusion, I urge you to consider the profound impact this endeavor could have on the lives of these residents by constructing a bridge in this restricted area. We have the opportunity to transform lives in a tangible and sustainable way. The bridge will not only provide safe passage across rivers to crucial locations such as schools and hospitals, but will also serve as a catalyst for economic growth, social inclusion, and community development. In doing all this, we can strive to enhance, protect, and serve these communities. Thank you. Any questions?